Morning everyone, welcome back to the channel. Where are we today? Well, we're at Bridgwater for the Bridgwater Classic and Vintage Club annual rally. This is a two-day one. It's held at the Morganians Rugby Club just outside Bridgwater. It's a two-day event. I'm here on the Saturday and I've got here early because there's a threat of rain later, so we're going to have a look round. The car park's starting to fill up, so join me as we take a walk round and see what you think. Right, let's start having a look at a few cars, shall we? First up's this nice stag, look at it, wire wheels. Then we've got, is that Mark III Granada? No, Mark II I think. And then that's an Austin, is that an Austin Cambridge? I think it is. I'm sure my usual commentators will correct me if I'm wrong. 205 diesel. An STDT. So it's got, I think this might be something somebody's created. A sort of GTI look with a diesel engine. Then we've got a Triumph Dynamite Sprint. First saloon car with alloy wheels, someone told me. I don't know if that's right. And then the Hillman Avenger. Oh, that one's an estate. We don't see many of those, do we? Next up, Triumph 2000s. This is, just stepping back, this is a bit like, this row here is like a sort of early 70s car lot almost, with all the saloon cars. So we've got Triumph 2000. And then that is a Hillman Super Minx. I was just going to call it a Minx. That's a Super Minx. I don't know what in the spec makes it super, but it's a Super Minx. And then it's the sister car with a bit of brand engineering is the Humber Scepter, I think that is. Yep, it is a Scepter. Says so on the side just there. Then we've got a little bit of a custom van here, which I don't recognise. Let's have a look around the back, see what it's got to say. Oh, it's a Renault. Now that's a bit of a rare one, isn't it? We're used to seeing the 2CV vans with the corrugated look, but I do think this one is customised to an extent. I'll just go through to the front. Thank you. Yeah, I like that. Bit of subtle customisation, really nice. Then we've got a Stag and a Morris 1000 convertible. Information about it. And then an MG Midget. And then a more modern Mustang. Mustang design's gone full cycle really, because it's gone back to its original styling really. And we've got RS 2000. God, this is nice and clean, isn't it? I don't know if how well you can see the interior there. The iconic RS 2000 logo on the back there. And next to it, another Ford Motorsport car, Lotus Cortina. And that's a Mark I. Iconic green stripe down the side, really nice car that. we've got an XR3i convertible. Those iconic cloverleaf alloy wheels. Interestingly, these never seem to attract the value or interest of the hardtops, a bit like the Golf. The Golf convertibles in the day were the ones that were sought after. And then a bit of class, here we go, nice Rolls Royce Shadow. Would this be a Shadow 2? N-Reg, so that's about 76. Awful lot of car if you can afford the running costs. And then we saw a Hillman Minx earlier, and there's the follow-up, is the Hillman Hunter. K-Reg, so that's about 72, 73. And then we've got SL Mercedes. It's bravely got the roof down with the forecast. Oh, thank you. Then we've got a little bit of a kit car line up here, and I think I know some of these guys. JBA Falcon. Anyone who's watched my other videos will know I'm a big fan. Individual design of that. And then we've got a VW Nova, and we're hoping to do a video on some Novas in the very near future. This was a VW Beetle based car. And the explosion of kit cars in the early 70s. Look at the back of the JBA there with the boot open. Incredibly, JBA Falcon still coming up as unfinished kits. They were mainly pre-SVA, so a little bit of a challenge, but... And then we've got I think this will be Beetle based. It's obviously inspired by the Lamborghini Countach. And finally on this row, a little bit of Vauxhall Americana, PA Cresta. You can see very much that American inspiration with the chrome and the fins on the back. Right, I'm going to take a look around the bikes. These are, I'm generally into 80s Japanese stuff, so some of these are a bit before my time, but we'll see what we can do. We've got Honda 175 from the late 60s. Triumph. I want to say Bonneville, but I don't think it is. I'm sure someone will correct me. And then BSA Bantam. That was a great all-rounder bike from BSA. Produced for an awful long time, that one. Then we've got a Greaves off-roader.
Got a nice lot of trade stores for you to have a browse round. And
notice it's got leading link front suspension.
we've got some very interesting vehicles. But also,
and then this is a Francis Barnett, very much in that similar BSA Bantam all-rounder kind of area. And then we've got an Ariel. I think that might be a leader. I could be wrong. Please correct me in the comments if I am. And then I'm more confident to say this is a Bonneville. I'm not 100% sure.
Fantastic. Have a great morning, and we'll be talking soon.
And then the next row in, that's That's a Suzuki. Now that would be a competitor to the Honda Stepfruit. And we've got another BSA Bantam, nice bright blue there. 175cc apparently. And then a James. I think these were quite popular with the post office. And then we've got another Triumph. Again, I'm going to go... I don't think that's a Bonneville. Cracking looking trike here. Now, I think that's from a GSX 11. Could be 1100, could be 750. Stunning looking alloy wheels on that one, look at that.
Yeah.
Right, we'll just get through to the back row where we can. Now we've got a bit of a Bandit special here. You see, a bit of a custom look to it. And luckily, I've got the owner, Phil, here with me as well, who's going to talk to me a little bit about how it all came together.
Well, it's basically, I bought a donor bike, the 600 Bandit donor bike, and wanted to do something with it, so I went a bit crazy and built it from scratch, really. It's a homemade frame, homemade tank, the exhaust I've made myself. Basically, everything on it is homemade, so it took about a year to build.
And wheels, are they original Bandit?
That's the Bandit wheels,
okay,
yeah. Bandit wheels, brakes, forks, engine, and electrics. And everything else is homemade.
And I noticed you got a lot of brass work with the wiring in it. Are you a plumber?
No. I just wanted to do something a bit different than been done before. I don't like wires exposed, so I thought I'd put it through the brass work to tie in with the sort of semi-vintage look of it.
Yeah, no, I really like that. Brilliant. Thanks for talking to us, Phil.
No problem.
And then anyone who was 16 in the early 70s will recognise these. Yamaha Fizzies. And this is a real early one. If you look down here, it's actually still got the pedals, which was the limitation on what you could ride at 16. It had to have pedals to start it or to be able to propel it along. And that's a slightly later version. And they were restricted to 30 miles an hour. Until they got out of the showroom. And there's a Triumph, which I'm not sure of the model. It's got more enclosed rear end. Now, I should be able to... That's a Yamaha Radeon. I don't think that's I think that's an imported model. Looks like it's got the... 750 engine, maybe the 1100. And now this is a Corgi, I think. Yes, there we go. For those you can read upside down, it says Corgi. And with a sidecar. You don't see many with a sidecar, let's be honest. And then this one, I'm going to have to refer to the paperwork, is a Trojan auto cycle. So these auto cycles were popular just after the war. It's got a little engine on the back to power the bike along. And then this one, 1934, which is, no, it's got no power. So that's exactly as it came. And then finally, I have never seen one of these before. It's a wall auto wheel. And you've got an additional wheel on the back that you bolt onto your bike. And it powers the whole thing along. Little fuel tank at the top there. And that was the start of the sort of auto cycles, where eventually they made them more compact. I don't quite know how that worked when you went round the corner, maybe. Ours is not the reason why. Okay, we're going to start down the next row. Oh, do you want to talk about it? No, okay. Well, we don't have to. So what? I can see this has got Saab on top of it. So it's a Saab turbo engine.
2 litre turbo, yeah.
2 litre turbo engine. 400 brake horsepower. And it looks like a completely standard yellow Astra. I love that one. Brilliant. Thank you. Look. Let's have a closer look at this. 400 horsepower coming out of that. And of course, this was a period when GM owned both Vauxhall and Saab, so there was some compatibility there. So, and next to it, we've got a nice classic Mini, and another classic Mini. Little Ford Anglia, one for the Harry Potter fans as ever. Ford Capri, there were wheels on that. Yep, it's a gear. And then we've got another Ford Anglia, 105E. Then an Aston Martin. That is a DB6. And then anyone who's watched the Camerton video will remember how many commercial vehicles we had there. And look at this one. We've got it's a Ford Anglia at the front, but it called it a 500 weight Thames van. Don't get many survivors of that. And then you don't get many of these. It's a BSA tricycle. And it's actually, I believe, front wheel drive. Yes, I can see the diff down there. When that was introduced, it would have been a competitor to the Morgan. And that big chunk of Americana here. Chevrolet Bel Air, 1957, I believe. And then we've got a Messerschmitt bubble car. This is the four-wheel version.
Look at the interior.
And an MG midget. Now, this is a little Marcos, mini Marcos. And yes, you're right, it's based on a mini. It even uses the original mini backlights by the look of it. And what we've got, is this an Elvis? No, it's a Triumph. Got that wrong. I'm going to get a slap for that one. I would imagine that's just pre-war. I've been taught about MGTFs and TDs and so on. So hopefully my next lesson will involve the Triumph range. And Morris Minor there.
Don't tell me how you did that, and then he just got a screwdriver and he bent it. I've still got it. That's still the one.
And yep, that was a diesel engine. And then we've got a Ford V8. Is that an F100? I don't know. Could be. And then we've got I think this is a Gentry, because this is F-Reg, too late for an MGT series. So it's a Triumph Herald base with a Gentry fiberglass body on top. But at first glance, who would know? And then here we are. No, it's not an Austin 1300. It's a Vanden Plas Look at that chunky grille on the front. And it's going to have leather seats and I think picnic tables in the back. Really, really high spec car of its era. And then we've got a standard, I think that's a 10. And a Mark III Cortina. And we've got MGB GT. And we've got a little Frog Eye Sprite. Or we should call it Austin Healey Sprite. That's from 1960. Very similar centre part to the MG Midget. And then we've got a MR2. So D-Reg has to be about 87. Again, this is one that's really come of age recently. And then last on this row, but certainly not least, this lovely white Triumph Stag. So let's go down this row. We've got a Unos Roadster. I know it's a Unos because of the badge on the front. But of course we know that as an MX-5. And then we've got a Mini Moke. And then a Jaguar. I think this is a Mark II. Do get those ones wrong occasionally, so I suspect I'll get told off. And then we've got a Rover P5, 3.5 litre with the V8 engine. Oh, look at this. Beautiful Mustang. Look at that gold paint. No gold, bronze. Immaculate under the bonnet. Yeah, one of the very early ones. And then something a bit different is a Gilburn, which is one of the very, very few cars produced in Wales. In fact, there's 2 of them. One alongside it there. And I think they had the Ford V6 engine in them. They were sort of mid-level Grand Tourer. And I think they also did an estate version as well, produced in the late 60s, early 70s. Oh, and then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Chrysler PT Cruisers. Very much see the American influence of this car, which is obviously where it was made and imported into the UK. I also did a convertible version, which I can't see there's any of them here today.
He doesn't drive at the moment. He can, but he hasn't passed his test.
And then, lovely Mark I Cortina. Let's try that again. Lovely Mark I Granada. Very much the Sweeney era, apart from the wheels. Which, I'm a fan of originality, but actually I think that really suits it. And then next to it, we've got a Morgan +6. So a quick peek on the interior.
It was restored by a Concord engineer who we actually met at the Bath Festival.
Then we've got a MGB GT, resplendent in Harvest Gold. And then what looks like a Morris Minor that's been enlarged under the photocopier is actually a Morris Oxford. So very similar design, bit of a distinctive different grille. But that's how they came up with a mid-range car. And then we've got a Morris Mini. And then, oh, I'm going to fail on this one. We already know I am. But I think it's an Austin 10, but it's only because I saw the Drivers Club badge on the front. And then, as famously driven by Princess Anne, Reliant Skimmer-to GTE. And then we've got a Volkswagen Beetle from the early 70s. Then we've got another really nice RS2000. Got some deep dish alloy wheels, but apart from that, looks absolutely bog standard. Looking at the bonnet, under the bonnet, sorry. And then finishing up this row, we've got a Ford Popular. Obviously, one of the ones very popular, excuse the pun, for turning into hot rods. So on to the next row, we've first off got what's nicknamed the Land Crab, is a Morris 1800, and this incredibly is owned by the son of the original owner who brought it new in 1971. Incredible story, that one. And then we've got a Morris convertible.
Pushing out 335 brake.
Now we've got a Daimler Dart, which had a 2.5 litre V8 engine.
Have you had this one, Rob?
I think this was popular with the police back in that era.
Yeah.
And then we've got a Rover 10.
This is something, again, we can include in our modern classics. It's quite a piece.
And then we've got another more style car, Jaguar Mark II.
Yeah, totally different.
3.8 litre engine in that one.
It's still got the look of a Morgan. As soon as you see it, you know it's a Morgan.
And you go from the big to the small. We've got a Fiat 500 from the early 70s.
Totally different, isn't it?
When you look at the size of this and compare it to one of the modern Fiat 500s, it is completely different. And then we've got an Austin A35 from 1959. And we've got a modern classic here. Now, we've seen a few E30 BMW convertibles, but this is a Bauer convertible.
Automatic one and a 3
As
litre.
you can see by the little badge on the side there. As you see, this is more almost of a T-top kind of design. This is what BMW used before they had their own convertible, which had the sort of really flat deck arrangement at the back. And then last on this row, you might have heard it come in earlier in the background, is a Ford, I think it's a Ford Popular drag car. Is that a Ford Popular? Yeah, I think it is. With a significant, I think is the best word I can use, engine in it.
We've got a car in the car park, unfortunately. It's been parked wrongly in the disabled area, and unfortunately it's restricting movement there. It's a little Fiat Panda from the looks of it.
I know it's a taxi, but I didn't know much more, so the board tells us all about it. It's an Austin 12.4.
It's something different, and it's affordable. You can have a lot of fun, great value.
And now one bit of trivia that was told to me was that taxis can't have, of this era, a passenger door because they needed to be able to take a bale of hay on. Quite why they needed to take a bale of hay on, I can't answer that question. Now this one I am struggling on. If you know what it is, tell us in the comments. Let's have a look round the back. No, still no help there. And now we're over to the modern classics era. So we've got a Golf GTI and a Z3. Obviously quite pessimistic about the weather because they've got the hard top on already. And then we've got a Jaguar XK. And then a Focus ST. And then we've got a Saab convertible.
Yeah, I think I'd go along with that.
Little Peugeot 106.
Great sounding Mustangs myself. This
Fiat Cinquecento.
Cruiser-matic.
Oh, that'll be a Cinquecento Sporting. It's got the red seat belts in it.
on it.
And next along we've got a MX-5.
We're ringing it.
And then finally a TVR Chimera.
Nice Rover 35B next to it. Registration on it. These were great. They had the V8 Rover engine, which of course was the originally of the Buick engine. Hence why they were called 35B.
So we'll resist the temptation of an ice cream, well, for now at least, and have a look along some of the commercials. Land Rover fire engine of some form there. And then we've got a Ford, not sure, tell me in the comments as usual. And a couple of more
Almost as dear as the wheels.
Range Rover fire engines these. Interesting, they've got
Well, they were kind of thing, it was what's known as the Coke bottle ship.
6 wheels
You look at it,
on both of them.
raised that little bit, and it went forward stuff. Obviously the Coke bottle design started in the States, but it filtered over here, even with the
And we've got
ATV that it started.
a Volvo based fire engine.
But Ford adapted it when they brought the Mark III out.
Then we've got a Willys Jeep. I don't know whether it's a Ford built one or,
Now they're quite scarce.
again, not my
This one's a 6.
area of great knowledge.
Some of the upper models.
Then we got Bob the Builder driving the little BMC pickup.
Along the way. The Ford. Yeah, don't they? Yeah, they like the 2 doors, but actually the practicalities of the 4 door are better.
Oh, we've got another one of these.
Thanks for bringing it, lovely. Little standard 8 next to
We
that.
don't know what the one was from earlier,
Kind of a small car.
but this looks like, to me, and we'll have a look at the other side, a very early camper van.
Rear seats.
Let's have a wander through and have a look.
This
And we'll try and get away from the loudspeaker.
Very, very tiny little Flyer 1100 next to it.
Yeah, that is an Austin apparently.
This one's a Mark III.
And we've got another pickup here, I think that's a BMC front, or it could be a Ford Thames. Just about to see how wrong I am. It's a Thames, I was completely wrong.
Right, this one's a Gentry.
And then we've got a Ford fire engine,
With actual engine.
a Land Rover,
This one.
and finally an Austin Morris van. Again, it's a,
So you try and mechanic.
to me, it's amazing how many of these
It's quite a common thing to do with
these vans survive. Notice the sliding doors
all over again.
to make getting in and out easier for delivery drivers. I'm sure Amazon drivers would enjoy that kind of facility. Now we've got a few more commercially kind of vehicles down here. We've got a Willys Jeep first,
Part of the Herald Dash, so
and then a trio of
keeps it nice and tight.
Land Rovers, a couple of earlier ones there,
Lovely.
and a more modern one there. I say modern, that's probably about 30 odd years old.
Good morning.
Right.
Nice to see you up here today.
FL7 tipper.
To see it here. And you had this one, Robbie?
And then we've got a very much the older Land Rover there because of the inset headlights. And the Citroen, is that a J van or H van? One of the two, I think.
Did you do the conversion yourself? Excellent job. Wonderful. Still going to stick it in today.
And look at this monster. I'm going to have to take a few steps back to get it in. It's a Scowl. In fact, I'm going to have to gently re-angle my camera to get it all in. I'd imagine that's a recovery truck. Yes, it is. Let's have a look around the back, shall we? Oh, heavy haulage, sorry. Well, he's got some form of winch there. Oh, and it's 4x4 allegedly, so that's quite a heavy duty bit of kit, would we say? Another heavy duty truck towing that caravan along. And that's another Scamel. Then we're into the plant. That looks like quite an early JCB to me. And some V8 Fordson tractors. And that's a Fordson Major diesel. Yep, I only know that because I can read it on the badge on the side, because I haven't got a clue on tractors. And that's an International because it says it on the side. And then we've got a few more Fordsons here. I've probably gone by something really rare and don't know it, but hey ho. A Nuffield. Oh, I do know this one. It's a grey Fergie. And they've got a little tracked one there. Hope you can hear it hear me over the generator. Just have a quick walk along the steam engines. Lovely small scale one there. Look at that. And then we've got King's Sedgemoor. Now that's going to hurt your toes if it runs you over, isn't it? I'm having a waffle because I don't really know a lot about these, so we'll have to wing it a little bit as we usually do. And this is an Inviok. Oh, got a lovely little one here just going by. And back to Inviok. Now I'll come step back of this. Cornish Star is beavering away there. And then finally there's a Fordson diesel with the working hut on the back. Well, that's our look round the Bridgwater Classic and Vintage Club's annual rally. I hope you really enjoyed it. It's been a great day out here, and hopefully you will consider giving us a like and maybe even a subscribe, because next time we'll be at another car show and it could be close to you.